Hello! In this video, I'm going to be looking at the book Accelerate, specifically the first chapter, which just sort of sets the context for the rest of the book. If you're not familiar, Accelerate is a book about software delivery. The subtitle kind of gives it away. It's about building and scaling high-performing technology organizations, and it takes a look at things from a fairly technical view, but then also more broadly into the organization itself. This chapter sort of sets out the goal, and it sort of sets out this basic assumption, which is that delivering value quickly and in smaller batches is typically going to be better than delivering it slowly and in larger batches. Doing this, having these shorter cycle times, enables more quickly delighting our customers, staying ahead of competitors who are also moving fast, and it also enables organizational learning because you can do things like product discovery, right? We ship an early slice, what can sometimes be called a minimum viable product, or a feature that is simple, lovable, and complete, but maybe fully featured. And we can see, how does that respond? How do customers use it? What value do they find in it? And then you can use that information to develop the next slice. And you can iteratively add value, get it quickly to your customers, stay ahead of the competitors. So that's sort of an assumption building in. And part of being a high-performing technology organization is the capability to be able to do that as an organization. So to do that, what they say is that's going to require some amount of technological transformation, some kind of technology transformation to be able to get to that point. But then the question is, how do we know how we're doing towards that, right? We know that we need to do this as an organization. How do we know how we're doing it? They also point out that there tends to be a gap. Practitioners, none of the people that are actually pressing the buttons to deliver the software or doing the development to build the software, they tend to see themselves as not as far along as executives. Executives tend to have a more optimistic picture of where their organization is, and that gap causes problems for decision making and deciding what to do next and how to build the software. And so what we need is a way to measure it that everybody can agree on, everybody can say, understand where we're at using the same kind of language. And then they talk about two different ways to possibly do this. One is this maturity model idea. And I'm not super familiar with maturity models, to be honest, but they do not like maturity models. And they say the problem with maturity models is that they're very static, they're very linear, they can be prescriptive, right? Like do this and this and this, you're at level 1, level 2, level 3, and then you've arrived at this particular software development maturity model. I said that is not what we want to do. Instead, what they advocate for is a capability model. And what they say the benefits of a capabilities model is that it reinforces continuous improvement. It's not just like level 1, level 2, level 3. It's like, hey, wherever we're at, we could incrementally get better in this way, in this way, in this area, and here. Secondly, it's going to be dynamic. It's not static like the maturity, checking these boxes. It's going to be a more dynamic look at the world. And then finally, it's outcome-based. That is, we're not just trying to check some certain boxes. We're trying to say, how are we actually doing? What are the actual outcomes that we can measure, which will demonstrate our capability towards reaching that goal of delivering value quickly to customers? And so there's sort of two pieces to that. The first question we need to answer is, what are the capabilities? And throughout the book, not in chapter 1, but throughout the book, they are going to go through 24 key capabilities. And I'll bring up those capabilities. I'll just show the list of them in a second. And then they're going to look at how do we measure. So what are the outcomes that we're going to be measuring? We said it's outcome-based. What are the outcomes we're trying to measure? And they're going to lay out 4 different metrics. And these metrics, 2 of them are based on tempo. What is our tempo, our cadence of release? Can we get these out quickly? And then the other one is stability. When we release, are those builds stable? If there is a build that is unstable, that has some key failure in it, how quickly can the team respond and mitigate and get another build out there to resolve that issue that was seen in the previous build? And these two have a relationship working together, right? Because it's these key capabilities which are going to improve the metrics, and the metrics can give insight into which capabilities, or it can provide some evidence for needing to work on certain capabilities. And so we're going to explore further, maybe, we'll see, these other capabilities, and then also we'll talk more in depth about what those metrics that measure tempo and stability are. Okay, I do want to close by just bringing up this article these are the capabilities. And so we can see things like these fall into various categories. So there are ones about continuous delivery, some things about architecture, product and process, lean management, monitoring, and culture. So some of these things are going to be pretty technical, like how automated is the deployment process. Some of these things are going to be more cultural. Do we have a learning culture? Do we have transformational leadership in place? Some are kind of around process and management. So this can touch on things that would be involved in product management or project management or developing good process practices, things like that. So it's a pretty big range of things. So maybe in a future video, we'll go through some of these things in detail. Just wanted to give a sense of what they are right now. And hope you found this helpful. And maybe I'll do another one later. See ya.